Good morning, YouTube. It is the 19th of March, 2020. Bitcoin prices really came back. We've got this massive mean reversion, a 1, 2, 3 formation setting up. We're going to go through the indicators to see how much power this might have. And at the end of the video, we're going to go into a in-depth review of Bitcoin dominance because we have some amazing breakouts taking place in the altcoins right now. And if you aren't already prepared to take advantage of this next wave of the altcoins, and you want to be sure that you're going to get in and get out at the right time, be sure to check out the Bull Market Watch. Click on the link in the description down below, and I'll tell you more about that later in the video. Let's jump into Bitcoin prices. Bitcoin prices have made a big reversal wick here on the weekly time frame. On this weekly time frame, now we have a turnaround point in the RSI. When we go into the daily time frame, we can see it's picking up a little bit here. And I'll watch this trend line all the way along until the RSI does something and breaks that trend line, and that will likely be where our top formation will be. Let's zoom in now to the 12-hour time frame and see what the RSI is doing. Looks much the same. We do have a pretty good divergence here from the extreme downside, so that is one good thing. The other thing we could be looking at is to pull this back into a long distance like this and see how far oversold we are compared to prior bottoms. And it's a very good comparison that this could be the bottom now. And it gets to look more like it as we zoom into the rest of the indicators here. Let me go to the 4-hour time frame and zoom in. So again, now I'm watching for trend line breaks. So when this trend line breaks, this may pull back. Let's zoom in a little bit more on this. The 1-hour time frame, you can see that we have good divergences building up. It does feel to me like this is going to burst higher from here. We'll see how this goes. Let's go to the next indicator and see what the volume is doing, because it's the size of the selling now that's the most important thing here. Zoom into the daily chart just to see the nature of this dumping, and it was quite a bit more extreme than these dumps that we had back here. This really pushed it to the edge, so it was a really good dump, really a good one. Now we're looking to see less and less dumping on the next attempts, so let's see how this goes. On the 12-hour time frame, we're moving less dumping and into positive buying before we broke out. That is pretty significant. When we go into the 4-hour time frame, I like this buying pattern. It's good. I think we'll be breaking out higher from here. The 1-hour time frame, now we can just zoom in on this and watch. As it's breaking out and we see it's giving us good volume where this didn't, then we know we're golden. Moving on to the MACD indicator. This is a cross to the negative on the weekly. It's pretty serious. Let's zoom into the daily, and I've been watching for the daily to cross ever since we went parallel arms down. So as soon as we were on our way down, then this is what I was watching for, is this daily to cross, and we're coming up to it. Just because it crosses doesn't mean we're done going down. So I do want to pay attention to those 1, 2, 3 formations failing or maintaining themselves. So let's zoom in on this to see the state of it. The 12-hour has crossed positive. This is good. Move into the 4-hour time frame, and we're parallel arms upward, which is good. I want to zoom back now to see how this reacted in the last dump, because in the 4-hour time frame, we had lower lows on these two different dumps here, and nowhere near as extreme as we are now. We're at what, negative 280, say negative 300 in that time frame. And here we've come to a far more extreme level. Let's continue to zoom in on this and see what's going on, because as this histogram unfolds, this is going to tell us when we're going to get a break, this crossing over. If we zoom into the 1-hour time frame, we can see it's gone sideways as the market flattened out, and now it is edging up. We do have higher lows on these crosses, and it's flaring out wider with a positive histogram. So these things are supporting, for me, we've got a lot of indicators supporting the pressure going up here. We can see this divergence. And what will happen here, if this is working, is that we're going to go to stronger histograms, and this will flare back wider as we're breaking out. And of course, we can go to the on-balance volume and verify that it's good volume. The Ichimoku cloud was the best bear signal all the way along here. When we came up to the top of this cloud and we made the 1, 2, 3 top formation underneath support and resistance, man, that was the signal. I didn't trade it properly because I was anticipating this move up. And if we didn't have the world's coronavirus, we probably would have done something like that. But now we've been reset. Everything's been reset, and we don't know if the reset is complete yet. So let's zoom in on the 12-hour time frame to see what Ichimoku says. Nothing golden here, nothing bullish. This is the first bullish sign here on the 4-hour time frame. We have the cross to the positive here. So it really needs to go up through the cloud before the 4 hour is going to give us the confirming signal. This actually gives us a target of 6,500 to 7,400 for this move to come up and make a 1-2-3 top formation here or a 1-2-3 top formation here. Let's zoom into the 1 hour time frame. The 1 hour time frame has confirmed it is positive here. We've got a cross to the positive. The cloud is green and we are up above the cloud. So that is a buy signal on the Ichimoku cloud right there. Going into the 15-minute, is it running out of steam? It doesn't seem like it. It looks like it's good. Even on the 5-minute, it seems like it's accelerating. So that's good stuff. I'm on the 4-hour time frame of the Bollinger Bands before I zoom out. And the main thing I want to pay attention to is this number 1 point here and this mean reversion on the 4-hour time frame. This is also a mean reversion on the 4-hour time frame on the number 3 point of our 1-2-3, and coincidentally we have a mean reversion on the number 2 point. Should this flare wider as we're going up and we're breaking above these levels, that's really a good confirmation. Now I want to go back and call this bottom as I did a couple videos ago now. This is the main thing right there. And I'm going to zoom all the way out to the weekly view and boom, we are still circled. This is a mean reversion here on the weekly time frame. And it's really significant because it happened here. It happened here. We went up. And if I pull this chart back and look for the other mean reversions, we did have one that went right outside here, right to the outside of the 3rd standard deviation, right between them, and just touch the 2nd. So to come right outside of the 3rd standard deviation is really amazing. So if I circle this one again and zoom us back and zoom in to reflect again, we can see that there are only 3 places that we went outside that 3rd standard deviation, and every one of those was a bottom that we went sideways for months and then built from there. So if we do go up and we pull back, I expect that we're going to be setting on top of support and resistance now. And if we go back and take a look at what happened since on the other mean reversion, we can see that we had a lot of difficulty through this period, a lot of sideways action. So through this period of time, trading the 1-2-3 bottom formation and the anticipation of the beginning of a big trend probably is not going to be a really successful strategy. Now let's zoom in on this to see what's going on the daily time frame. I still love this mean reversion, that one right there. It's killer, and that we have a 1-2-3 formation on a smaller time frame right there is just a beautiful example. As we zoom in, we can see the 12-hour is outside the 3rd standard deviation. Weekly, daily, 12-hour, 4-hour, all of them outside that 3rd standard deviation. Insane. And we're making a 1-2-3 formation that is building higher lows as we're moving along and giving us some mean reversions out of these bottoms. Really, really nice. I think we're going up. And I want to finish by going through a quick routine of Bitcoin dominance on the same strategy here. So here we have the relative strength index. I don't know how much weight to put onto the technical indicators when we're looking at this pattern, yet I do want to track it just to be sure. So as this RSI is breaking down, I want to pay attention to this change of direction as we are moving this way in the Bitcoin dominance. And as we zoom into the daily time frame, now I'm watching for this to do one of 2 things. I want to see this break down as dominance is breaking down, and that would be really good for the alts to see that in the RSI. If we go to the 12-hour time frame, it's the same thing. Now this has got a lot of noise with this pullback here, and whatever goes on with this RSI is going to tell us what's going on with dominance. If dominance rises, the alts are going down, but I do believe dominance is going to drop. Let's zoom in. It's not giving us any indicator here. When we go into the MACD on the weekly view, it looks like it's about to cross to the positive. And if this crosses right here, this is a sign that dominance is going up and that alts are getting crushed. Let's zoom in to the daily time frame, because even though this could flare wider and these histograms could grow bigger and we could go up from here, the opposite is true. These histograms could weaken off, this could cross negative, and the dominance could be dropping. So watching for this to cross is going to be really key on the daily. Go into the 12-hour time frame, it's crossing a bit positive. I want this to be giving us negative histograms and that Bitcoin dominance is dropping. But I also want to know which way is it going, rather than just look for my own thing here. Zooming into the 4-hour, and I like this better personally, the more that we have crosses to the negative and negative histograms, the more there is that dominance is weakening off from here. And I believe it is, but it is not showing it to us yet. Let's go into the Ichimoku cloud here on the weekly time frame. If this crosses to the positive here and we start to go up, there's a clear continuation of this trend. And that's what this is setting up to show us, is the buy signal in the uptrend if that crosses over and we're bouncing up from there. As we go into the daily Ichimoku, this has crossed positive. We do have a twist to the positive. The trailing indicator is coming up through everything, and we're coming up to the top of a red cloud. So should the blue go wider from the red as we move up through here on the daily Ichimoku, that would confirm bullish. Moving to the 12-hour time frame, it's holding steady, it's twisting negative. The blue has crossed down below the red, not giving us the bullish signal here. The 4-hour time frame is right sideways, and these are all useless now. As the more we go sideways, the less use they are. As I go into the Bollinger Bands, this is a top formation. We have the 200 period exponential moving average that the top formation is making underneath there. That is bearish to me right off the start there. As we go into the daily time frame of Bitcoin dominance, we can see that this is making a tiny little 1, 2, 3 formation here underneath the 200 period exponential moving average, underneath the big top formation. For me, this is all still a really bearish setup here. If we come down off of these levels, it's still looks major bearish to me. Here we go with another bearish view, a lot of volatility here, no answer yet. As we're coming up to this midline, there's just no answer as we're going along here. And so to wrap things up for Bitcoin dominance, what I'm looking for is a break of this 4-hour relative strength index. That'll confirm which direction we're going. I'll also be looking for a crossover of the daily MACD. If this breaks negative and we're crossing negative, that's a good confirmation. Ichimoku cloud isn't as clear, but I'll be watching the 4-hour time frame to see if this goes more negative as we're breaking down below these levels. This will confirm if the blue is crossing and we get the trailing indicator to cross through, and that this turns negative and bearish, then that'll confirm. And Bollinger Bands is a little bit different. It is looking bearish to me, and these mean reversions could be the very beginning of the altcoins really breaking out, and not the beginning of a trend reversal pattern like they normally are. But again, it all comes down to the 12-hour time frame pretty much to see where we're breaking, which direction we're going from this as we're setting up out of this. We can see here that some of the alts are really pumping. Steam is going to have a hostile hard fork, and people are buying it like crazy so that they get a split in that fork. Data is going up. ENJ is up 41%. We have some amazing breakouts taking place in the altcoins right now. And if you aren't already prepared to take advantage of this next wave of the altcoins, and you want to be sure that you're going to get in and get out at the right time, be sure to check out the Bull Market Watch. Click on the link in the description down below, and I'll tell you more about that. We can go through what the Bull Market Watch told us in the last bit of a bull run here, and when it got us out at the right time. We are all prepared now to go through all these coins and watch them turn into alert status as they are ready.